Like, great, you know how to speak. Wow.
He's got to make up for lost time, man.
I guess so.
Cart.
It left a lot of stuff unanswered. Like it never really went into like maybe the corruption of the scholars and like what really was going on in the society.
Hey Jonas, smile, you're on
All right. So you've got some unanswered questions. All right, Jake.
I thought it was kind of mid. So I thought that it left a lot to be desired. It left a lot to be desired. But basically, it was a bit predictable to me in terms of the plot, like him being shunned from society, and like as soon as they reveal like the unmentionable ones, like oh they're gonna talk about that, and then it's like oh there's this word that people aren't allowed to speak or they'll be burned at the stake. I wonder what will happen with that word, and then I don't know. It was kind of like the whole deal with the scholars like being hypocrites. Basically, they didn't really go into that, and I think a lot of other stories nowadays have done that way better. That whole like dystopian society restricting people. I don't know if it was like very original for the time, probably, considering when it was written, but I think a lot of other stories have done that premise way better.
Okay. Fair enough. Avery.
Like, I feel like it was like a waste of an idea. Like, the idea is like good, but it wasn't executed well. I feel like it's like no questions, bro. I feel like it's a real story. It could have been like more interesting. Like, they could have been like taken from.
That's actually a very common like response from my classes. It's been like, hey, kind of a neat idea, which somebody else had written it.
The girl was awful. I couldn't
Oh, we're gonna talk about her a lot.
Dude.
We're gonna talk about her a lot.
Tell Mr. Young. Huh? Say it to Mr. Young. You're gonna hear on camera.
Oh, yeah.
Smile, you're on camera.
Sorry, I was enjoying that conversation too much. Carter.
It doesn't make sense. Like the thing with her, it's like it feels like she's living for him, but the whole thing is about being individual, right? It feels like
Oh,
she's
true.
living for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold those thoughts, because we're going to talk about her.
Hold them.
She's unusual, and I'll explain what that means later. For like a female Ayn Rand character, she's unusual. Is that a handshake?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
I like the book.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
Okay, why?
I don't know, like I just like it. I like that type of story, like so much character development.
Okay.
And
There,
The character arc.
there is a lot of change. I don't think you can argue with that because you hate it, Morgan. There's a lot of change.
I would say that a lot of people are saying like this is poorly done and stuff, and it is. But like I thought it was a good book. Like how she even goes to jail and gets beat up like a lot was cool. But like if we think about it, you know, The Giver, that book, you know, it's kind of the same as Sophia kind of thing, and but where everyone's the same and it's different.
The Giver is so much better.
It is better. That's what I'm saying. Like look at it, we're regrowing better.
This is short. It needs to be longer. If it's gonna be any better, it needs to be longer.
Okay. Case.
I think overall it left a lot to be desired. There were a lot more, like there were a lot of plot holes just because
Hey, y'all, folks.
she wanted it to be shorter. I think if she would have taken the time to actually write a full book, it would have, we could have filled in because it did feel like it jumped around a lot. Like we got a description of the time in the palace of detention, but I don't think we got enough. I also, there was like the weird jump from when like he's in the forest by himself, and then all of a sudden, next chapter, Goldblum's there, and then the next chapter, they're in a house together. I'm like, there's no context as to how they got to those places. So I think if there was more context, you would.
You're on camera.
Yes. This is a break.
This was just like a.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a break now.
True.
Jake.
I was gonna say that Ayn Rand could have definitely written a book that supports her ideologies a little better and like gives good arguments for them rather than writing kind of like this. I don't know how else to explain it. I just think the type of philosophy and ideas that she herself has and tries to write into the book, like with the main character, kind of makes people not really like those as much, especially towards the end when the character is like the sacred word, you know. It's very bold and not very, I guess, inviting for a lot of people.
Yeah. Even people who agree with her ideas or like the way she delivers them, it drives a lot of people away. It's just like she's as subtle as a hammer. But it's interesting you said like a book in support of her ideology. One of the other classes had this theory about this book. This is a book that the entire plot exists only to serve the last 2 chapters where it explains her ideology. Do you all buy that?
I agree.
No.
I would buy that.
Okay. So, I have some specific questions that we'll talk about later, but for now, let's talk about some of the stuff in 11 and 12, just to make sure we're all on the same page. First off, that first question for 11, I am, I think, I will. Does this remind you of another famous phrase? Anybody?
I think therefore
I
I am.
had a dream.
Say it, Jake.
I think therefore I am.
I think, therefore, I am, indeed. I don't know if she was riffing on that, but I
What
wonder.
is that?
That's from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
From what?
I have no
Discard
mouth.
this, guys. Never mind. Anyway, forget it.
Whatever.
So he says, I am, I think, I will. What is the significance of him saying this? I am, remember, this is like the first time he uses I in the book. I am, I think, I will. What's going on here, Quentin?
He's describing himself as an individual.
Yeah, he literally is for the first time. I am an individual. He's describing himself as an individual. What else? And he's saying, and let's talk about am. What is he saying in those 2 words? I am. What's he saying?
He is.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he's his own person. It says I am. Like he exists. He as an individual exists.
Yummy, yummy. In my
Next one,
tummy.
I think. What's he saying here?
He can think for himself.
Indeed, he thinks for himself. And he says, I will. This one's a little weirder. I will.
He can do whatever he wants.
So he can do whatever he wants. What else?
He'll be his own person, not ruler.
Yep, own person. Thomas.
He has like his own will.
He has his own will. Yeah. So he can do what he wants. He has his own will. Nobody's going to tell him, hey, dude, go take out the trash. He's going to be like, no. So this is the second question for 11. Discuss any of the 3 rules or guidelines which equality adopts as his guide to life. And this is really critical for you to understand the type of society he's going to try to create. Because remember, he's got a plan here in these last 2 chapters. So, what are some of these plans? What are they? Morgan?
No more weed.
Indeed, no more weed.
No more weed.
Oh.
So, is the word we completely gone? Okay, so the word's not completely gone, but what meaning associated with that word is gone? Because something is like dead and gone. Thomas?
Like I will replace the opposite. So the we is gone and I is replaced.
So yeah, like literally the way to describe yourself, that's dead. What else is dead? Somebody said it. Yeah, collectivism is gone. So yeah, no more we, no more collectivism. What else? What else? The rules for his society, James.
No free handouts. Right? Yeah, basically. He kind of talked about like how he doesn't owe people anything unless they help him or something. Or you don't deserve anything unless you do something yourself to deserve it.
Okay, you don't deserve anything unless you do it yourself. We'll say just don't deserve things. We'll say you have to earn them. Good. What else? Rules for this society. Rules. What's he say about debts? What does he say about debts?
You're not indebted to anybody. There's no like by birth.
Yeah, you're not indebted to anyone. What else? Rules for the society. Tracy?
Every man lives for himself.
Indeed. Every man lives for himself. What else? Other rules of society. How does he think people should interact with each other? Another way to ask this, should it be coerced or voluntary? Voluntary, yeah. So it should be a series of voluntary relationships for everyone. Yeah, voluntary relationships. Good. So yeah, speaking of that first one we had, no more weed.